Okay, give me just a minute. I'm going to open up the chat box. Give me a minute, and we will get started. Just a few minutes. Oopsie, what's going on here? Hang on. There we go. Oh, if you enjoy, I don't know how to spell. If you enjoy these cards. Oh, Lordy. Please. How do I get back? Please. How come if. Give me a minute if you enjoy these cards. Back up. All right. See if that works. Okay, how is everybody? Welcome, welcome. Come on in. I'm going to text one of my customers and let her know that we will be going live here in a few minutes. So give me 1 second. Let me plug in my friend Phyllis Potter. Going live at 7 p.m. Okay. All right, we're good. Okay. Let's see what time it is. Oh, we got 10 minutes. Not too bad. All right, let me, now I'm going to go into my Facebook page and see what's happening over on that neck of the woods. So make sure that we're live. Oh, I hear that. And we are good. Yep, there we go. We're live in action. Make sure this is on. Okay. All right. So I am back and trying to play catch up. It's been crazy. Crazy. We got home. I'll go over that in just a few minutes. We're going to start. Let's see. We're going to start in about 10 minutes. That gives us till about 7. About 7:02. We'll get started. I'll do my introduction. We're going to do 2 fun fold cards this evening. And I got to make sure, hang on, I got to get my stuff together so I can reach everything. All right, this is the next pile. So we'll be good. All right. Okie dokie. Oh, wait, I got to get my stamps together. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Hang on a minute. I got to get to my box over here, so bear with me. I have everything set up in a box. All right. And what did I do on the other one? Oh, I did the same one. Okay. Had to get my ink. Had to get my stamp over here. I had it sitting in my box for the next card. So we're going to do 2 cards this evening. I'm going to put that right there. And let's see. I guess I need to get my other ink pad, don't I? I've got everything set. Oh, there it is. Set up in I got boxes everywhere. Let me see. Where is my... Hang on a minute. Uh-oh. I will be back. I need to go let me make sure I don't have it with me. Which ones am I looking at? Nope. All right, I'll be back in a flash. I should put up my sign. Okie dokie. All right, I'm back. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Karen. Oh my gosh, Montreal have you been there before? It is unbelievable. I mean, the weather was decent. It was nice. It wasn't too hot. It was in the 80s. One day it was well, it was cool in the mornings. One day it rained, so we just stayed in with that one and kind of chilled out. But it was nice. And we did a lot. We went to the botanicals. Of course, you take the metro to go everywhere. We found some great. I mean, they are so far advanced in the plant-based world than we are. Oh, I mean, other countries are, except for the United States. But anyways, it was fun. We had a good time. And then, which I put, I forgot to send my newsletter out today, so it's going out tomorrow, and I have all of this in there. But I have been looking for, finding a new puppy dog, right? And so I've been checking sites, rescue sites, and all this other mess. And they're either, they're puppies or they're males, which no offense, but I just don't want a male dog. And, or they're big dogs. So I just happened to be looking. Chuck goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I have to check every day because, new dogs come in every day." So I checked on Thursday at this one site. It's my first dog I had when I was 16. I think. And the application stated that while we're sitting in the airport in Montreal on the way to come home, and went through the decision if we were. So we drove. So she called Saturday to go up to Orlando Sunday. And Chuck said, "We're not doing a meet and greet if we don't qualify and get that dog. We're not going up there if we don't come home with the dog." So we have a dog. Oh, you're frozen? Oh, no. Hang on. No, that's not good. All right, hang on. All right, hang on. We're frozen. All right, am I unfroze? No. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Oh, so, all right. Let me know. We're frozen. All right, am I unfroze? No. All right, we got to turn this off. Hold on. Let me see. I can't hear this. Hold on. So, all right. Let me know. I got to turn this off. Let me get out of my Facebook page. Hang on. I'm checking. Well, let's see. Oh my God, congrats on getting, okay. So your picture is frozen. Oh, great. Well, let's see. How do I redo that? Share. Let me see. Hang on. Let me see. Hide. Let me see. I don't want to end the stream. Is it still frozen? I'll leave and come back. All right, let me do that too. Hang on. Let's check and see. Facebook. Let's check. We don't want to be frozen. Dawn. It says we're live. Yeah, we don't want that one. Let's see. Let's see if I can, hang on. I'm not sure if I'm still frozen. No, I'm okay now. Okay. No, you're okay. Okay. Good Lord. I was frozen on my screen too. So let me just, I can't tell if, anyways. So we went up there and came home with the dog. She's 2 to 3 years old. She's a Shih Tzu mix, Yorkie. And she was the owners gave her up because they had too many dogs. I don't know why. So she went to the shelter, and then she's been in the rescue at the foster's home for 2 weeks. She's always been in a pack of dogs. She's always had a door to go outside to the bathroom. She's never been on a leash, never had a collar on her. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, let me tell you. So it's been, which is fine. It's been a work in progress, but I'll show you. I was going to put a picture in the newsletter, but I think, let me see if I can get to one on my phone. I'll try to show it to you. But anyway, so we're excited. She's younger, and she shakes at everything. She's not, like walking up and down the stairs. She don't like that. Put her on the elevator. She feels it. I don't feel it, but she senses it, and she just starts freaking out. So anyways, I'll send a picture in my newsletter tomorrow, and you can look at it. So anyways, but yeah, so she didn't eat for 2 days and didn't go to the bathroom. We had to have a serious talk with the rescue people. Anyways, I won't go into the details on here, but I thought we were going to have to take her back. But anyways, we worked it out because we threatened to take our donation back. So anyways, all right, let's get started. It is 7 o'clock. Well, we can talk another minute or two because we'll have late people coming on. But anyways, Sunday night when we got home, of course, she hadn't, Sunday we got home because it was 7-hour drive up there back. Oh my God. So Monday, or was it Sunday? No, Sunday, because we got home about 2:30. She wouldn't eat, she wouldn't drink, and then she ended up going to the bathroom, and I'm not going to go into that, but I said, this does not look good. So we emailed the people on Monday, and because you have to get, for the first 7 days, you can take her back, or you take them to the vet, and their vets that are approved would pay for their medications and all that. Well, I thought, I'm not driving 3.5 hours to go to a vet every time this dog has an issue in the 7 days. So we threatened basically to dispute our charge on our credit card. And we wrote an email and finally said, we want a phone call by 11 o'clock. That was Monday morning. And then somebody finally called us instead of emailing. And we had a serious talk with her where she explained to us that a lot of times that dogs go through trauma like this, they don't eat. And they do have this issue that she was having. It seems like she's gotten better. But we're taking her to our vet tomorrow just to have her looked at and checked out again. She's been spayed, had her teeth cleaned. I think she's up to date. According to the records, she's up to date with all her shots. She needs to get like a influenza shot or something like that. So anyways, but she's a work in progress. That's all I can say. But she's a cutie. She definitely needs a bath. Got the groomer set up for next week. She's never been groomed, so I'm not tackling that. We were going to try to give her a bath. And I thought, no, I don't want to traumatize her any more than we need to for right now. The groomer is going to be more in tune with that and have a helper. So anyways, but yeah, crazy. All right. So welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce myself because we got 2 cards to do. They're fun folds. Oops. And I want to make sure we have enough time so I can go through everything. I'm Dawn Duvall. I'm with Shall We Stamp. I'm an independent demonstrator, and I've been doing this going on 15 years. I live in Fort Myers, Florida, and as you may have just heard, I was just conversing with, I'm going to call her a friend. We've never met in person, but a friend by crafting, and was telling her about a new rescue dog that we've gotten. Her name is Rosie. We're thinking we're thinking about changing her name, but we may keep it. We're not sure yet. So we're going to see how her personality shows up. But anyways, okay. So today or this evening, I'm excited to be back. I missed my crafting and I've been busy. All right. So tonight we are going to make 2 fun folds. And we're going to use the Thankful Garden suite. So I'm going to flip the camera down, show you the products that we're going to use, and then we're going to get started. So bear with me a minute. I'm going to flip this. I've practiced it kind of to get the idea of where I need to go when I flip the camera. So hopefully I'll get it right in shape, which that didn't take that wasn't too bad, was it? All right. So give me just a second. I really wish I almost bought a new iPad for Prime Days, But the more, and I could find some that were refurbished that weren't that expensive, but most of them weren't. I need at least an 8, you know, I think mine's a 7, whatever generation. And in order to use Switcher Studio, which is what I used to use, but I thought I don't need to spend that money. I'll just do it this way. So anyways, okay, enough talking. All right, this is the Thankful Garden. It is 13 photopolymer stamps, and you've probably seen some stamps, cards made with this set. It's really pretty. And then it comes with 12 dies. And I haven't quite figured out what this one goes to. I think this one here must go to this set right here. I think it must cut out one of those things because it's just got that weird shape. And I kind of see like right there, but I think it might be this one. Anyways, so there's the dies. And then also the bundle, which is the die, the stamp, and it comes with the Thankful Garden decorative mask. Now, we're not going to use these. I was going to, and then I decided not to because I thought it would take too long, but we'll do this another day. We'll make one of these flowers using these masks again. All right, so that's what we're going to work with. And then let me put this down here. This is the paper. This is, it's so gorgeous. I'll just give you a real quick flip. Here's one. Isn't that pretty? And then there's the back side of that one. Here's a green one. We're going to be working with these. And there's that one. Now the dies, I think, will cut out some of these images. Here's another piece. We're going to use this one on the second card. And then here's one that I used on the card that I'm going to show you the sample here in just a minute. So it's gorgeous. And you can find this in my online store. And then it's got 2 sheets of, you get 12 sheets, 2 of each. This one here, which is little tiny flowers. And then this one here, which is dark garden green with some pink in the back, or fresh freesia. So that's the paper. It's really gorgeous. So that's what we're going to be using. So I'm going to show you this new fun fold. And I got this from, oh gosh, hang on a minute. I got to get my notes. I got this from Deborah Harrison, the sample. There we go. All right, so there's the card, and it's like a tri-fold, if you will. Isn't that cute? So it closes, it will fit into the envelope sideways, and then we're going to score it and add these panels. Isn't that cute? So that's what we're going to be making. I can't get it to lay flat, so but I'm just going to put it right there. And maybe I'll put one of the glue things on it to hold it in place. Maybe that would help. Let's see. Anyways. All right. Well, whatever. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to use fresh freesia for the card base, and we're going to do some coloring. And this is 4 1/4 by 10.5. Now we need to do some scoring. So if you're, you don't need to take notes unless you want to. You can always come back and watch the video if you need to. So we'll just leave it at that. Let's move this out of the way. All right, so we're going to open our arm up, and we're going to do our scoring. Now we're going to start with our first score, which is 2.5 inches. And then we're going to move down to 3 3/4. And then we're going to move down to 6 1/4. All right, hang on, 6. That's an 1/8, and all right, there's the quarter right there. And then the last one is 7 1/2. So we're going to move that down to 7 1/2. Okay. Now that's all the scoring that we need to do on this. Now, the piece of the cardstock that is at the 2 1/2. So the top should be that 2 1/2 mark, 2 1/2 piece. So this is going to be the top of our card. All right, so we're going to take and we're going to fold this. I have to do it right this way, and then I'll come back and burnish. And then we're going to fold it this way, and then we're going to fold it back this way, and then this one's going to come out at the bottom. Okay, so you'll see how it goes like that. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to come back with my bone folder, and we're going to do some burnishing. So let's burnish. We're going to do the front side. And I'm going to come back, and then we're going to flip it over. It's just easier. Flip it over and burnish the back side as well. Okay, so we want to get, and then we want to just come back and just do it again, right? So we want that. We've got that. And this will probably help, hopefully will help it to lay down a little bit better. And then we'll lift this one up and we'll do it like that. So there's our card base, okay? And so remember, the 2.5 inches is going to be the top of the card. That's the main thing, okay? All right, so that's that. I'm going to put this off to the side for just a minute. I'm going to give you the other measurements. You're going to cut 2 pieces of cardstock, which will be the base for these each panel. And these are cut at 3.5 squares, so 3.5 by 3.5. And we have 2 of those. And then we want 2 pieces of designer paper. And these are going to be 3.25 by 3.25. And I'm going to use this design, and then I'm just going to use the back side of the paper. Okay. And then I'm going to take this. Uh-oh, hang on a minute. What have I done? What's wrong with this one? Hold on. Why does this one look weird? This should be 3.5 by, oh wait, did I cut this wrong? Hold on. Oh, I cut this at 3.5. I'm a dork. This has to be 3.25. Yeah, 3.25. Sorry about that. Hang on. Let me cut this real quick. All right, so this needs to be at 3.25. What was that thinking? All right, so let's take that and let's make sure this is 3.25. It is. Okay, I just forgot to trim off the other side. All right, and let's make sure I think the other one works. I was wondering why it didn't look right. All right, so we're going to put one on here, and then this one, hopefully I cut it right. We're going to put the flowers on this one. Oh, I did the same thing. I didn't cut it down. You know, the reason, I'll tell you why. I was making, I've got a class. Yeah, this one needs to be at 3.25. My class for Shell Point is tomorrow. And so I was cutting for that class at the same time. And I had put these 2 off to the side. So I would keep the 2 for tonight separate. And I think I forgot to cut them down, but that's okay. All right, so this one's going to go in here. I'm using the garden green base. And this one I'm just going to use, and I'm going to use this one for the top of my card because that's where we're going to put our flowers. And I thought it would be less, busy. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get my glue and my trash can. Sorry for me reaching. We'll go ahead and add this to one of our card bases. And I really wasn't expecting to take all this time because we got this other card that I want to do, but now the glue don't want to come out. Go figure. Here, hang on. There we go. All right, so we're going to glue this one down. If I can get the glue to come out. I was all ready. I guess I should be more prepared and not, I should always check my glue, huh? All right, come on, guys. Come on, you can do it. All right, you know what? Let's, I'm going to take a new one. That'll be easier. So y'all aren't having to sit there and watch me try to glue stuff. All right, we'll just go like that. Okay, so this is going to be on the piece that's going to be on the top panel, but we're going to put these down first. Okay, and then this one we're going to glue down. We'll make sure we get our flowers in the right direction. I think it is a little bit directional. It's really pretty paper. And so we'll put this down. All right, so that's going to go there. Okay. And then now, so what we're going to do, we'll go ahead and adhere these to our card base. So what we want to do is line this up, and you only want to add glue right from here down to about there, because this is going to fold down. So you don't want to put glue on the last third. So I'm just going to put my finger there and know that I can put glue from right about here on the top of the card. Okay. I probably could go a little bit lower, but I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. So we're going to lay this down, and I'm going to put it about like that. And I'm trying to line it up and leave a nice border on both sides. And as you can see, I've got it glued down, so it's not going to glue to the second part. All right. So we're going to let that sit for a minute and dry. Now this one, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to line this one up. Now this one, when we close it, this one is not going to be quite as up to the top as this one is, because I'm bringing it down a little bit. I want to have a little bit of a border at the bottom. So if I bring it up higher like that one, which you can, then you're going to have a larger space down here. And I think that might look funny. I'm just going to bring mine down. So I'm going to bring it down to where I have about that much of a border. So once my card is closed, I think that will be fine. All right. So again, I'm going to hold this card and I'm going to put my thumb where I know I can put my adhesive, right? So I'm going to put my adhesive up here, and, or you can put it on the other, but I want to play it safe. So I'm going to just put it right here. All right. And then we're going to lay that down on this one. And we'll try to center it with the one on top, right? We want to have them both together. And then I'm just going to bring this down a little bit to where I want it. And I think that's good. This really is an easy card once you do it. Okay. All right. So there's that. And then we're going to have a basic white piece for our inside to go in here to write our sentiment. Is going to be at 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm going to place that down here. And again, I'm going to place it where when I shut my card, I don't see that white. Okay. So I know I can put it right about here. I got to move it over just a tad. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. Don't you like the way when we pick white paper up, we always flip it over when it really doesn't matter because it's white on both sides? All right. So I'm going to hold this in my hand and I'm going to lay it down lightly so I can make sure it's hidden. And it is. So I'm going to go ahead and push down on that. Okay. All right. So we've got that one done. We've got this one done and we have this one done. All right. So there's our triple or vertical double fold. Okay. So open it up and then close it. All right. Now we're going to decorate this part right here. All right. So this is good. So we're just going to let that go off to the side. Now I went ahead and pre-cut. I stamped this in Memento Black and die cut it. So I wouldn't have to do that while we're sitting here. Let me get a piece of scrap paper, which I did bring. Hang on, I gotta find it. Hold on, it's on the bed. Hold on. Okay, because we're gonna do some coloring. All right, so I'm going to color this, and I'm going to use fresh freesia. Hey, Phyllis, thank you. Oh my gosh. So I love Rosie for, wow. Yeah, we were thinking about changing her name. I kind of like Trixie, but we haven't quite. We'll probably leave it. But isn't that something, Rosie? Okay. So we're going to color. I'm going to use the Stampin' Blends. I'm going to use the Secret C. It's like a dark, to me, it looks more black. I'm going to use that for the inside, the little pieces on the inside of the flowers. And then I'm using the Fresh Freesia Stampin' Blends, the light and the dark. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and come in with my little small tip. And I'm just going to color these little things right in here, just the black part. And I'm just going to I'm kind of going to dot the lines. I'm not sure what those things are called. All right. And then we're going to take our dark freesia and we're going to do some outlining. And I'm going to use the fat tip. Hang on a minute. These Stampin' Blends, if you don't use them a lot, the caps tend to not want to come off. And then when you do, the whole thing comes apart. So I'm just going to use the dark and I'm just going to kind of come back. I'm going to highlight some of the petals, like these little corners here or inside pieces. I'm going to highlight those so it makes it look like it's kind of got shadow effect. So they're going to be darker. And then I'm going to come back and just kind of do a little highlighting with the dark here on these lines that the artist has done. And I think this one I can do a little dark there, and we'll just put some right there just to give them some highlights. And if I need to add some more, I'll do that after we get done. All right, then I'm going to come back with the regular fresh freesia, and I'm going to use the large tip because I can get a lot more done quicker. And I'm thinking I may come and do these a little bit darker. So I'm not going to color the inserts yet. I think I'm going to color these on the outside with the light. And then I may come back and do those inside petals, maybe do them a little bit darker. We'll see. All right, so I'm just going to color these. It's not that hard to do, so we're just going to color those in. And then the green, we're going to end up using garden green, and we're going to do some blending. We're going to do, well, I didn't realize, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I didn't realize that our water painters were on the discontinued list. They were on the list to go. And I don't think there's any more in stock. They may be, I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. But anyways, I'm using a water painter, but you can use one of the blending pens that we have available to color, or whatever you have in your craft. I need to put a dark thing there. Whatever you have in your craft supplies. I didn't, obviously, apparently I didn't pay attention to the last chance list, because I would have, I've got probably about 3 or 4 of the water painters, which they used to call them. So I didn't know that. I would have bought a couple more, but that's okay. I got enough that will do the job. All right, so we're just going to come around here and get these colored in. And I'm going to come back and do some more highlighting on these. And I think I'm going to come back, and I think I want to do those a little darker in the center. That's what I'm thinking. So let's come back and let's do, if I get this open, I'm going to do these a little bit darker. I'm going to come back and highlight these pieces right here, just so they kind of stand out a little bit more from the thing. And I'll put a little bit there. And then I want this one to stand out too. So I'm just going to come back and kind of go over these again. And then I'm going to come back and just do a little bit of dark and maybe color in a little bit. I think that might look a little bit prettier. Get some of that. All right, and we'll do the same thing to this one over here. Because don't you think the insides are usually darker? At least I do. All right, we need this one to be a little bit darker. I'm going to do that one. I think that looks good. All right, there we go. So there's that. Now I'm going to come in with my water painter and my green ink, my garden green, and we are going to color our leaves. So I'm going to come in. That's why I wanted this paper on here. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'll bring everything back in just a few minutes. Let me put this right here. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my water painter. You can do one of two things. You can squeeze your lid or drop a drop in of your ink, or you can just take some ink from here and then brush it into the water, and then squeeze if you have the water painters, you want to squeeze those to get some of that ink out of there so it's not quite as dark. And I'm just going to come in and lightly color the leaves. And some may be a little bit darker than others. It just depends on how much ink I want to add to them. And they dry pretty quickly. Now what I'll do is I'll probably make this the stem a little bit darker than the leaves themselves. So it's just going to, this one I didn't put a lot of ink on it. All right, so we'll come back and we'll get a little bit more. And I may come back and make them look a little bit darker. But these, I love the water painting because it just makes it so much easier, right? And then we'll come back in, we'll do this guy. Now I pulled up a little bit more ink for this, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to grab some off the ink, the tray itself. All right, see how that, I'm going to bring some in just to do like the veins. And I'm just going to come back and do that a little bit with the veins. I'm just pulling up the ink from the ink pad itself. All right, just to give it a little darkness. Okay, now I want to color this. I want this to be a little bit darker. So I'm just going to bring this line all the way down. I'm not squeezing. I'm just letting the water flow by itself. So we're just going to come down. I'm going to bring this up here. And then we're going to try to get this there. I want to make sure we've got the leaves covered. So let's I want a little bit darker. And again, I'm not squeezing the water. I'm just letting it do its thing. Okay. All right. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. And then you can take this and wipe it off like that on your paper. until it runs clear, and then just color up. You can do the blending pens with this as well. Same thing. All right, so we're going to snap that on there. We're going to close the ink. All right, so this is done. So we're going to let that just sit for a few minutes, and then it should be dry. But in the meantime, I went ahead and stamped the sentiment of with love in the seaside, sorry, not seaside, secret sea. I was just stamping away. And then I realized after I stamped it, and I thought, oh, well, I'm not going to worry about it. Y'all know how to stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this apart. I want the word with, as you can see in my sample, I want this one to be flat. Now the flowers are going to be popped up on dimensionals, and then I'm going to pop the love up as well because I want it to go over that. And I have the stem going down onto the next card base, next designer, the next row, if you will. All right, so I'm going to cut this, and hopefully I can cut it straight. So I'm going to cut the word with, and I'm just going to cut it straight out. So for there, I just cut the bottom of the W, but that's all right. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to fussy cut the word love. But I'm going to take this guy and we're just going to cut him down because I just need a small, did I cut him? Yeah, I just cut this one straight. So this one, we're just going to cut straight across. Okay. So that's going to be that. We're going to leave that right there for a moment. And then I'm going to come in and go ahead and start my fussy cutting. And I am going to start right here, and then I'll come back and work my way around. And we're just going to come around and just do this. And then this one will pop up on dimensionals. So we're just going to kind of follow the lines of the lettering. And we're just going to keep moving around. And, you know, there's some people, and I think y'all have heard me say this before, that love to fussy cut. And they do such a good job at it. And then I look at what I do and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how do they do it so, you know, clever? And they make it look like it was actually cut with a die. And I don't think mine do that, but, you know, we just do the best we can. And you just, you know, try to keep your scissors up where, you know, the piece of paper is towards the back of your paper snips or scissors, because that's where the sharpest piece is. I'm going to snip that off so I can get in here. And then we're just going to just kind of follow the lines and go around the O and then come up to our L. And then we'll have this done. Just turn it around. See, when you get them small like this, it makes it a little bit more cumbersome, I guess. All right. And then I've got this piece right here where I started, and it looks like a point. Okay. Not too bad. All right. So let's do that. Let's get all this stuff out of the way, and we'll move the green. Yeah, we do need the green for the next stamp. So I'm going to put that right there. Okay. And we need dimensionals. So let's find those guys. And we have those right here. So let's go ahead and add the dimensionals to the back of our flower. I'm just going to place them sporadically where the leaves are and the way that it's cut. So I'm just kind of going around the edges, and we'll put some here. And let me get back over here and pick some of these little guys up. And then we're going to come back here, add one on the leaf there. We'll put one here, and then I'm going to put two on this center so they don't sag. And then I'm going to take a baby, and I might have to trim this down. Actually, let me see. I think it's not going to fit. All right, I'm going to take a mini dimensional. We'll put one right there, and then I'm going to cut. Actually, let me have this piece of paper. Hang on a minute. I'm going to take one of these minis, and I'm going to cut it in half and put it right here. This is where you probably need, like, you know, the tweezers, right? All right, so we're going to put that right there. Whoopsie, not that way. Hang on. Sticking to my fingers. All right, so we're going to put that right there. Oh, did y'all see where the north rim got burnt down? The lodge from the fire? That's one of the national parks we went to. Oh my gosh, isn't that terrible? I just don't ask me what made me think of that, but it just did. I don't know why. All right, let's get the glue dots. Let me get my trash can closer where I can get to it. And we're going to remove the backings here. And then we're going to get this card finished up, and then we'll start on the next card. And then I have a third card, which I'm actually doing from my class tomorrow, my in-person class. And I'm trying to make, believe it or not, I got them doing these cards, but I've got everything cut out for them because most of them are experienced. But I have one gentleman that comes from one of the assisted living, and he does exactly what you tell him to do. He is so good. And so I went ahead and colored his stuff for him, which he'll be fine with that. All right, so I have my dimensionals on the back, and then we're going to place that. So I'm going to place it right here, and I want to have it where I've got it pretty. I'm going to move it to the left side because I want to have room to put my word with love. So I'm going to glue my with right there. Okay, so we're going to add that with just adhesive. Just our liquid Tombow glue. All right, so we'll get a little bit on there. So I'm just going to lay that down flat right here. So that way you can see it. And then this one, we are going to use those little mini dimensionals. Let's pull those back out again. And we're going to put minis on here. And then I'm going to do a little bit. I know you can't see. I'm going to put a little bit where I can put the mini, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to do, I might be able to put one right there. Let's see if I can get one in the center. I think I can. If I get it down in there, right? Yep. And then I'm going to, I think I'm just going to cut this one in half as well and put it right on the L for love. So let's cut that in half. And we're going to put that right there. And I think that should be enough. I don't think we need anything else on that. All right, so let's peel the backings off of these. These little guys, you definitely got to push down to make sure they don't pop off, right? So let's get the backings off of that one. We'll get it off this one. Whoopsie. And we'll get it off of this one in just a second. Hang on. Got to push down on that one. He don't want to come up. There we go. I have to go get my nails done. They look horrible. All right. And then I'm going to place that. I think what I'm going to do is place it at an angle, like right here, and let it come over like that. I kind of like that better than this one was. Oh, I did the same thing on that one. All right. And then there's our card. Isn't that cute? Oops. Let me get in the camera. Isn't that gorgeous? Very simple. All right, so we open it up and then we close it, right? Put it in the envelope like that. It's going to mail perfectly. Open it, and there you go. Look at that. And lay it flat. So that is the vertical double fold card. How's that? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so that's that one. So let's move these. I'm going to move these out of the way. And then we're going to come in with our next card. So give me just a minute. I need to reach over and grab my card base. I have to get up for a second. Give me a second here. But I pushed it over too far away from me. All right, hang on. I brought some scrap paper in case I needed that. Okay. All right. Let's move these out of the way. This one I want to keep because I want to show you that card. So I'm going to put that here so I don't forget. Don't let me forget to show you the card. Okay. The card that I'm going to make for my class. All right. Now this card is a tuck fold. It's a, I'm not even sure what it's called. You tuck, is it a corner tuck? That's what it's called. A corner tuck fold or something like that. We're going to call it a corner tuck. All right, so again, we're using the same designer paper from this batch. So we're just going to pull this out from here and then open the card. And then here's your spot that you will write your message. And this is just the card base that we've cut down. And then, and I'll give you all the dimensions here in just a minute. Okay. This, I used a retired embossing folder. Use whatever you have on hand. If you don't have any or you want to purchase a new one, then by all means, you can go shopping in my online store. And we're going to do some blending. We're going to use the blending brushes and heat embossing. We're going to heat emboss today too. Okay, so we're going to put that one right there. Let's get started. We've got a base of garden green. Let me get all my pieces out of here. Okay, so our base is going to be cut at 8 inches by 4 1/4. So we need to cut this down. Hang on a second. Let me get my paper trimmer. And we're going to cut this down. This should be already cut at 4 1/4. Let's just confirm that. Okay. And then we're going to cut this down to 8 inches. Let me just make sure I've got my, yep, 8 inches. All right. So we're going to cut that down to the 8-inch mark. All right. So cut that. Use that for something else. And then we're going to score this at 5 1/2. So we want to bring up our scoring tool. So we're going to bring this over to 5 1/2. And we're going to score that. And that's going to give us that flap that we need to make the front of our card, right? So there we go. Let's move this out of the way. We don't need that anymore. All right. And let me grab this other container I need. Okay. All right. So 8 by 4 1/4. Score it at 5 1/2 and fold it. And we're going to give it a good burnish. Okay, then we're going to have hang on a second. We're going to do some matting and we're going to use some of the designer paper. So we're going to use black. So we're going to take a piece of, got 2 pieces of black. Hang on, let me get the other one. Okay, we've got a black piece. This is, let me just measure it for y'all. It's going to go right here. This is 2 1/4 by 4 inches. And then we're going to take a piece of designer paper and I'm using this paper here and then the back side, not the back side of this one. And then I'm using the back side of another one. So the designer paper is going to be 2 inches by, hang on, 3 3/4. Okay. So that's that one. And then this one, which is going to go this way in the horizontal mode. This piece here is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then your designer piece of paper is 3 by 4. Okay. So that piece is going to get glued on to here. So let's go ahead and put these 2 together. We've done a card like this before. Very easy to do. Let me get my glue. And then we'll do, I got gunkies in my glue. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and put these together. And we'll get that lined up on there. And use what you have. You know, we always have so much designer paper that we tend to hoard, right? So we need to start using that up. And I've been trying to do that. Now, of course, I had to buy a couple of, I only bought 2 packages of the new stuff. And I'm going to put this one, I'm going to make it neutral. So I'm going to put the check, the green check. So I bought this set of paper and then another set. So I'm trying to use up what I have. And then the rest I sell on my Etsy store. So I sell all my retired stuff through my Etsy store, which you can find at Shall We Stamp 1 on Etsy. And then also I have my handmade cards. I opened that up again. I had that one open for a couple years and I closed it. So I decided to open it up again. And that's Shall We Stamp. Okay, so this one we're going to put here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and lay this one down first because the other one that we just put together, hang on, my glue is, oh, I keep grabbing the wrong one. That's why. I'm grabbing the one that doesn't want to play right. He's not playing nice tonight. Okay. All right. So this one we're going to place, and I realized, which I don't think it really makes a difference, but I realized when I cut this that I thought I was cutting my flowers in the right mode as far as the vertical. And I didn't, but that's all right. It'll be fine. It's going to be fine. All right, so we're going to lay that piece there, right? Now this one, we're going to come in and we're going to adhere this one. So we're going to go back just like what we did before. We want to make sure that we only put glue on this side, and then we've got our piece on the inside, which are basic white that we want to use for to write our message. And that one we're going to cut down. So let me grab that real quick so that we can make sure we don't cover before I glue that down. This piece we want to cut at 4 by 3. So this is 4 inches. So we're going to cut this down to 3 inches. We just want to make sure that we've got enough. Oops, I got fingernail polish on that one. We just want to make sure that we have it big enough to write a message, but not too big that it's going to hang out and show. Okay. So I'm going to lay this here. All right. So we're going to lay this down, get an idea. Again, I want to try to keep it to where it's going to be even all the way around. And I think that looks good. And then we'll just come in and we'll place that piece underneath. All right. So I know that I need to go. I always use my thumb. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to flip it over. So I know I shouldn't go any lower than that area right there. And I'd rather be a little shy on that than put too much. So I'm going to lay that right there. And we're going to put that down. And I think that looks fine. Get it a little straight. And again, I think I did pretty good with that. All right. And then this piece, we're going to lay down. We just want to make sure we get it in here. And you could have made it longer. You can have it longer coming back this way if you want. You just want to keep the top and bottom to stay within this piece right here. So you really could have added another 1/2 inch or so, but that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and add this down. And then where my nail polish got on the white, we're going to cover that one up. I touched up my nails because they were looking pretty crappy. And I did that for you guys. All right, so we're going to lay that there. And I think before I slide it, yep, that's going to be good. So we're going to push that down. All right, and let's see what else. All right, then the next thing we need to do is you're going to cut a, I think it's 1 1/4. No, I lied. It is a 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 square. And you're going to cut, emboss it with whatever embossing folder if you want. You don't have to. This is a retired one. And then put it in the paper trimmer and cut it in half at a diagonal. And you'll end up with a piece like this. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach that to this part of the card. Okay. We're going to put it on the inside of the card. And we're going to use dimensionals to pop it up because we don't want to add any glue. And it's going to cover up that one corner, and that's okay. So we're going to pop this up on dimensionals, and we're not going to put anything right here because we want this to stay open so we can tuck our corner underneath, right? So we're going to come in with some dimensionals. I'm going to use the little, the small dimensionals again, the minis, and I'm going to put them, and I know I can do one right near the edge, but not quite because obviously it's small. And we'll put this one there. And then I'm going to put one on each. I don't think we need a whole lot. So I'm going to just put 3 on each side. And I think that should work. Actually, let me think about this because we got to tuck that thing. Let me think. Hang on a minute. How many did I put in here? Nope, we're not going to do that because I just realized that we don't want, we got to get our paper to slide through there, right? I'm talking to myself. Okay. So let's go ahead and take this off, these little mini backings, and we're going to pop this down in here. Hold on a minute. Let me get it. Got to try to grab the little guy. All right, there we go. And we're going to lay this here, and we're just going to line up the corner, right? So we want to get it. Bear with me. I got the light in my eyeballs. We want to line it up at the corner. I think that's good. I'm going to just lay it down for 1 second. That's why you give it a second. Let's see how that looks. It could come back a little bit, but you know what? I'll pull it down. This one's a little bit high. Hang on. If I can pull it off without ripping anything. I have a little bit high on this side, so let's try this again. All right, let's do it. I'm going to stand it up so I can see. I'm going to do the corner first, and then I want to put my finger here to keep it from sliding up. All right, there we go. There we go. We got that. We got that, and then this one should just fall in place. And I have a little bit showing, so I'm going to pull him up. Actually, I think I'll just trim it. Because if I pull him up, it's going to tear. So let's just trim it up just a tad. We'll just take some of that off. We don't want that to show. All right, we'll just stuff him back in there. And then we're going to put him right there. All right, so now this is able, as you can see, we'll pop this up and we'll be able to slide our card inside. Okay, so you see we're going to slide it in like that. Okay. All right, now we're going to decorate. So we're going to do some blending. So I'm going to pull this. I'm going to move this out of the way for just a minute. Bring my paper back in. We're going to bring in our blending brushes, and we're going to do the flower at. Oh, you know what? I already had a piece of white already cut. Look at that. I didn't have to cut one. I already had one already cut. That's okay. I got one for another piece. All right, we are going to color or blend. We're going to use Daffodil Delight as well as crushed curry. And we are going to use our green watercolor painters again. And we're going to, oh, you know what? I used the white and here's my black. So don't forget when you're working with black cardstock, use the black dimensionals. I didn't do that because they were in my box. So my apologies for that one. All right, let's move this out of the way here. And I was going to use the Stampin' Right markers in the garden green, but it was a little too dark. So I decided to go against that. All right, so, all right, we don't need those. All right, so we're going to come in and we're going to do some blending. I don't need this guy. I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to do the daffodil. I think I'm going to do the crushed curry first, which is going to be, I'm going to put those in the two centers to make it darker. And then I'll come back with the daffodil and make it lighter on the top of the card. Okay. So always keep a piece of scrap paper underneath so you can do your blotting and all of that. So this one, I'm just going to swash it around again. This is crushed curry. I'm going to just kind of tap a little bit off, but I'm really just going to do some tapping and just enough to get the center part dark, but I don't want to put too much. I don't want it to go too far outside of the edges, which is fine if it does, because we're just going to come back with some daffodil. All right, so I'm just going to add a little bit more darkness here, and I'm just dabbing it. All right, and that's fine. And then we're going to come in, excuse me, and I'm going to try to clean some of this off. And we'll come in with Daffodil Delight. And we're going to color the outside. And see how quick this is? This is quick. Oh, we only have 2 flowers, but it is a pretty quick way to color, right? All right, so again, I'm going to tap off because I don't want all of that. And I want to try to stay off my leaves, right? So I don't want my leaves to get yellow. And then see how easy that is? I can just bring it out and color the flower. I think that looks fine. And now we're just going to color our green, and we're going to do exactly what we did the last time with the water painter. So we're going to put those over here. Bear with me 1 second. I'll pull in the green. I'm going to put my blending brushes over there. All right, so we're going to come in with the green again. And we could, let's see if we can, I don't think we can, let's try it. Let's see if we can, maybe we can do a blending with the brush. Let's try that first. Oh yeah, we can do that. Let's do that. Let's do some green. We'll do the green with the blending brush. There we go. That's what we'll do. We're not going to use water painters. All right, I'm going to dip this. I'm going to tap that off because I don't want it to get on my flower. And then I'm going to come over. I'm going to turn this way and try to keep it within the space of my leaf, right? Because I don't want to get, I'll make it a little bit darker. I don't want to make it. This is where I should have brought in one of my small sponges. But I'm just using the side of it. to get the ink on my leaf. Okay, so we're just going to blend it that way. And then I'll come back with the water painter and I will do the stem because that definitely, and let's just do this one just a little bit darker. I'm going to go off this way. I'm going to make him a little bit darker. Again, I'm just tapping it on the side and we'll come right back here. I can see a little bit of white, but that's all right. Okay. All right. That looks pretty good. That was pretty easy, wasn't it? All right. I see a little bit here. Hold on. Got to get that. There we go. Get that part right there. There we go. So we'll do that. Now we'll use the water painter just to do the leaf, the stem itself. I can do the bottom part with the green, but I think the water painter might make it a little bit easier. I think actually on the other one, I didn't even color it. So we're just going to come in with some ink and we're just going to bring the stem down. So I just put the ink, this water painter right on the ink pad and we'll just leave it like that. All right, so that's good. There we go. All right, snap that together. That was pretty easy, wasn't it? Okie doke. So now, let's see. We've got that blended. Now I can make these darker if I want to. Let me grab my yellow. Hang on a minute. Sorry to stick my arms. I want this one a little bit darker in the center. So you can just come back and add however much color you want. All right, I think that looks good. We're going to go with that. Okay. All right, so we're going to pull this piece back in. Now, since our card is in the horizontal mode, we're going to pop this up on Dimensionals. And we're going to lay this right about here because we're going to do some heat embossing. So let's do that now, and then we'll put everything together. Okay, so let me pull in my trays. All right, so we're going to do heat embossing. So we need Versamark. It's going to get a little messy here. Let me get my paper. Give me 1 second. Let me move these guys out of the way. All right, we'll get our paper here. Okay, so we've got our embossing buddy. This is something, now we do sell this kit. It's this, not the embossing powder, but this is my container. But this tray right here comes with your brush and your tweezers and an embossing buddy. So you want to put this, it's got powder on here. If you've ever played, pool, it's kind of similar to the talcum powder. This will keep the ink from sticking where you don't want it to stick. That makes sense. Okay. All right. So we're going to put this over here to the side. Now we're going to take our stamp and we're going to stamp it in Versamark, which Versamark is like a clear ink. And it also can be used as like you can stamp it and it will come up. I'll show you. So we're going to stamp with love. That's what we're going to use. And we're going to stamp it right on here. And I'm going to let it sit for just a minute. All right, and then once it dries, it's kind of a glossy. See it? Can you see that? I don't think you see how that goes. All right, so now we're going to come back, and I'm going to take my tweezers that come with this kit, and we're going to hold this right here, and I am going to add some white embossing powder, and then we're going to turn on the heat gun, the heat tool, and we are going to heat this up. So I put a little piece of like a half of a circle. You can dip this in there if you want, but I just keep it, to me, it's easier and cleaner. I can keep it all contained into my container. And then once you get it all covered with the with your embossing powder, and sometimes I go back twice just to make sure I got enough on there. Move it around. And then you're going to shake it off. I always tap it on the back. Don't ask me why. You want to get any excess off. And see how it only sticks to where we put the ink. All right. So now we've got the magic start. So bear with me just a second. Let me get this out of the way because we don't want this stuff all over the place. All right. That goes there. We're going to put that in here. Try to stay organized. Okay. We're going to turn the heat gun on. It's going to be loud. I'm going to give it just a minute for it to dry, heat up. And then we're going to start. And y'all are probably going to, I always start and get the bottom a little bit hot so that it will help to melt. And then just hold your heat gun and move it back and forth, and at some point you'll start seeing the stuff melt when it gets hot enough. There we go. You can start to see it change. See, just move your heat gun over, and we'll do the same thing here. See how it's changing to the white? And we'll do a little bit on the bottom just to make sure. And that's what you do. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to let this sit for just a second. We're going to cut this, but we're just going to cut around it. So we're not going to do a whole lot of fussy cutting, but enough that we're not going to see all this white powder. Okay, so let's let that cool for just a second. We're going to cut. And where's my scissors? Okay, so we're going to do a little fussy cutting just around the whole words. Okay, so again, here we go. Do our fussy cutting, and then we're almost done. I haven't even looked at the time to see where we are with time. Let's see, where are we? Oh, 5 minutes to go. Pretty good. All right, so we're going to just do this all together. So I'm just going to come in and go in just a little bit and then come back around to my, I'm going to cut that off there. And then I'm going to start here, go around my width. We're not going to do a whole lot. We're just going to kind of give it the effect. And then this piece right here, I'm just going to kind of go straight and come down a little bit. And then we'll come over here and come in just a tad. And then we're going to come back around the L. There we go. And then we're going to cut that little corner off to give it more rounded. So that's what we're going to go with. All right. So we've got the lift with a little, can't speak, with love. We're going to pop this up on dimensionals. Yeah, let's use our black ones since we brought them in here, right? Oh, makes sense. So we will use a black dimensional here, and we'll use a black one here. That way it kind of blends in so you don't see the white sticking out from the back. All right, let's throw that over there. Okay. And then we'll pop that over there. And then we're going to put this right down here in this corner with love. All right. And then we're going to glue this down. I mean, not glue it. We're going to use dimensionals. Now this one, we are going to use white because we've got white dimensional, white cardstock, right? So let me find my dimensionals. And again, we're just going to kind of add them along the way. Put one there, put one down here. All right, so what do you think? Don't you like these cards? I think they're unique. I like this stamp set. It's very, I think it's going to be really, you can use it for a lot of different occasions. Anniversary cards, you can actually do it as a sympathy card, birthday cards. You can really use it for anything. Thinking of you, whatever. All right, so we're going to do that. And then we'll take a baby, a little mini, and stick one right there. I'm not going to worry about the tail because he's going to be, well, let's see. We'll put one right. If I can get him. He wants to run away, doesn't he? All right, let's put this one right about here. And we'll hopefully, no. You know what? I'm not going to put him there. I think we're good. All right, move these out of the way. All right. Thumbnails down. Take off the backings. Let me put these in the trash can and make it a lot easier so I don't have papers flying all over the place. All right, give me about 5 more minutes and we'll be done. It's a good way to use up all your dimensionals too, huh? Right? Never have enough dimensionals. All right, we got a few more to take off. And I probably, like you and everybody else, always, oops, touch them to make sure I've got them undone. Oh, missed one right there. All right, there we go, right? Yep. Okay. So we're going to lay this on here. I'm going to have this hanging over so I'm not worried that it doesn't have a dimensional there because the rest of it's going to pop up, so it's going to be fine. I'm going to move this over right about like that. We're going to add some embellishments, and these are retired. But I like to use my retired stuff. I don't want to get rid of it. Not the jewels. I have a lot of these jewels. All right, let's do the medium size. I guess they're medium. Are they medium or small? I guess we'll go with small. All right, and I'm just going to place these kind of like brassy, not gold, but I'm going to put one there. And then I'm going to put one, and you know, use whatever you have. I'm going to put this one right about here because I can't put it up there because it's going to get hidden, right? So there is our other fun fold corner tuck card. So we have that. Open it up, write your message. And again, you could move this over or you can add a little bit more, another 1/2 inch for this. And then just tuck that right under that card, right like that. And there you go. All right, so there's that card. And here are, let me show you one other card. This is one of the cards. This is what we did just a few minutes, the other card. Now let me show you the one we're doing. These 2 cards, and then this one I thought was pretty. We're going to do this in my class tomorrow. Very simple. I just took a blueberry bushel, stamped the leaf that is part of the stamp set, cut a piece of fresh freesia, and then I took, based on the size of my fresh freesia, I just cut it down by 1/2 inch, and then I cut these in 3 strips, and then put my sentiment at an angle and use some pink, I think it's pretty in pink, or I don't know. It's a retired one, and you added that to that. But isn't this one cute too? But anyway, so that's what we're going to do in my class tomorrow. All right, so here are the cards we made. Our folding card there, our double vertical double fold, cute. And then we have our corner tuck card that we're going to open like that, and then tuck it back in, and that's how it closes. So there you go. All right, I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you everyone. I'm sorry I wasn't looking at the comments. I was so focused. My nails need to be done. They look horrible. Thank you, Karen. All right, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you like the videos, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm sorry I didn't welcome you sooner. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube that you subscribe to my channel and click the bell so that you're notified each time I upload a new video. And if you're on Facebook and if you like the video, please share it with your crafty friends. I greatly appreciate it. It helps me to reach out and meet more crafty friends. So thank you, everyone. It is 8:01, so I think I did pretty good this time. We're right on time. All right, thanks, everyone. And I will be back on Saturday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. It's Creation Anticipation, so we will be doing another sketch. So we'll be making a card or 2 from a sketch. All right, everybody, thanks again for watching, and I will see you this Saturday. Have a great evening. Bye now.